Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Assemble true believers, it's time for the show. Comics Dad's in the house with the books you should know. He's flipping through pages, the good and the bad. Superhero showdowns and villains gone mad. With a wink and a grin, he's your comic book guy. So grab your pull list, let's take this ride. It's the pull list, here we go. Comics Dad's got the highs and lows. From epic wins to flops that miss, he's breaking down the books on the pull list. Superheroes, villains, and lore, he's got opinion you can't ignore. From indie gems to Marvel's might, Comics Dad's here to set it right. Panels pop the story, so I'll tell you what's worth fighting for. Some books shine, some books fade. Comics Dad's culminating, it's the pull list, here we go. Comics Dad's got the highs and lows. From epic wins to flops that miss, he's breaking down the books on the pull list. So grab your stack, don't miss a beat. Comics Dad's bringing all the heat. Tune in now, the verdict's in. The pull list, where the comics begin.
Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody, Comics Head here, and thank you, everybody, for joining me for our second episode of The Pull List. Now, for anybody who wasn't here last week for the first episode, basically what this is me getting on stream for. Last week it was about an hour and a half, so that'll probably be about the time it'll be. But basically, I'm just going to be sitting here going through a handy dandy website/app that I use for cataloging and tracking my comic book collections, as well as being able to see and see what new comics are coming out for the week and add them to my, you guessed it, pull list. But before we get into everything, let's first and foremost say hello to the chat. So earlier during the intro, saw we had Error of Fate there. So everybody on YouTube, Error of Fate, Shell Frogs, Panda Simone, John Ambler. What's going on, guys? Over on Rumble, we saw Dizzy and Deaf and White Devil Otaku. What is going on over on Rumble as well? Thank you all so much for being here. And then also, we have the one and only Queen Comics wife here. And she is here tonight, says, hey, guys. Oh, and also she says Comics Dad is in the doghouse. Now, we'll discuss Queen Comics Life if it's you can hold on to that topic till Thursday for Comics Couple Cafe, and I will let you plead your case there. But no, absolutely not. But yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. Everybody, of course, first and foremost, please remember to hit that like button and either subscribe to the channel or follow the channel if you're over on Rumble. If you aren't subscribed or followed already, if you are, please turn on notification bells. Please share the stream and share the channels with everybody, everybody and anybody. And then over on Rumble, you also got the neat little repost button as well, additionally, that you can use. I'd appreciate if you guys shared everything out. what else? What else? Yeah, YouTube folk, YouTube crew, comics crew. You guys know what the deal is. Links in the description for various ways to donate since we're not monetized on YouTube. If anybody was feeling generous, but it's never expected, never looked for, but always appreciated. And over on Rumble, you guys know what to do over there if you want to do anything as well with the rates and the subscriptions. But again, never expected, never looked for. So I just appreciate that you guys are all here to hang out because that's really what matters to me. You guys hanging out, whether you want to engage with me or not, if you just want to sit back and listen, that's fine too. I appreciate the lurkers. I appreciate the chatters. I appreciate everybody that just comes and, has me on their phone or on their TV for an hour and a half, a couple of times a week. But let's get into it. All right. So last week we had some pretty decent polls. We had some pretty good books overall. Not a whole lot because I mean the comic book market, there are a whole lot of titles, especially if you're just factoring in DC and Marvel alone. Let me take this off my head. I don't even need this right now. We're not listening to music. um but so this week is actually a little bit smaller of a week. There's not as many books coming out this week. So this week may not be as long of a stream as last week, but, or at least in terms of going through books. But I do have a couple of things we could talk about as well if we get through all the major publishers and a couple other smaller publishers and get through our recommendations for the week. But I do want to develop a rating system. All right, we have the rating system, right? So it's a pull box or pull list. So pull list recommend or trash box. Trash box not recommend. I gotta see if I can connect with somebody that might be able to hook me up with hopefully one or two pretty neat graphics I can throw up on the screen if it's something pull list recommended or trash box recommended. And then yeah, maybe we can work on getting some emojis like that put into the chat as well, for at least over on Rumble. We can't get emojis put in on YouTube because we're not monetized, but is what it is. So without further ado, let us get on over into the new comics for this week. Last week we started with Marvel. This week we're going to start with DC. So let's get on into it. And the screen share's not up. Wonderful way to start. Okay, here we go. There it is. So first and foremost, we're starting with DC. So as I mentioned last week, for anybody who doesn't know, DC has another alternate universe, alternate timeline, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of various titles for some of their more prominent heroes, for some of the more prominent characters. It's called Absolute. So I guess they're calling it the Absolute Universe. So there's Absolute Superman, Absolute Aquaman. No, there's an Absolute Aquaman yet. I think that's in the works though. Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern, and we have Absolute Batman. Now, this particular issue of Absolute Batman that is coming out this week was getting a bunch of criticism when the cover image here was revealed about maybe 2 months ago or so. And the reason for that is that Graham Nolan, who is a comic book artist, legendary comic book artist for primarily for DC, did work for Marvel as well, a lot of independent stuff. He does his own stuff now, just for his own small indie titles, an indie publishing banner that he has and runs. Yeah, Absolute Batman. He is the co-creator of Bane, and on this cover we have Bane, and we get a look at Bane with a very tiny head. And this cover caused a lot of controversy for about a week or so. A lot of people attacking Graham Nolan because he did not approve of the design. I mean, he doesn't have to. He doesn't own Bane, but as the co-creator of Bane, he definitely felt like he needed to share his 2 cents on this design, and I quite frankly don't blame him. Absolute Batman is supposedly pretty good though. I have not yet to read it. Again, I am not really a big DC guy. I will what's it called? I will take a look at the Absolute stuff sooner rather than later, but I have a whole bunch of other stuff I still need to read, especially including stuff that we got from last week's poll list. But yeah. Written by Scott Snyder. And the art by Nick Dragata is actually why I kind of question the design for Bane, because Nick Dragata is a fantastic comic book artist, but he just didn't hit the nail on the head with the with the pinhead Bane on this one. Overall, considering what I've been hearing about Absolute Batman, we will put this on the pull list. Let's go back into other DC. So Action Comics. Action Comics has been going on for as long as it has for a reason. I don't see why we wouldn't. Yeah, Mark Wade is writing. Mark Wade has a good history, a good track record. If anything, I know DC, like Marvel, has been kind of pushing some BS over the last several years, if not decade, and just also low quality stories. But Mark Wade does serviceable job in a lot of his work. So Action Comics, we'll add that to the pull list as well. Why not? Well, let's go with Batman and Robin. This is just more Batman stories, Batman Dark Patterns. I don't know anything about this. This, I think, is supposed to be a miniseries. There's so many Batman titles out there. They do like right down here. We have Batman and Robin, Jason Todd, which this should be interesting for anybody that likes Jason Todd. It's what this is going to be. Is this is, I think, going to be a miniseries of just early adventures in the early years and early days of Jason Todd being the second Robin. um, I don't know how it's gonna be though. I really don't. I couldn't tell you. I'm hesitant on that one, but we've got Aquaman over here. Aquaman number 6. Uh, Aquaman. Nobody really likes Aquaman for a reason. He's just not an interesting character. Now Peter David changed that in the '90s when he took away his hand and gave him a hook and gave him a little more grit to his character. But Peter David's not writing Aquaman anymore. And also, rest in peace, Peter David, you comic book legend, sir. I hope you are resting well in heaven. But yeah, so Aquaman, we're not gonna recommend that either. We're not gonna necessarily trash box it, but we're not gonna recommend it. Now, this one right here, Green Lantern Corps. What in the hell is just going on with this cover design, let alone anything else? Oh, okay, down here we've got writers who go Jeremy Adams, and we've got Morgan Hampton. I mean, this okay. The artist is V. Ken Marion. V. Ken Marion does excellent job with his art. I don't know what's going on with this cover though. Well, V. Ken Marion didn't do the cover, so fortunately it won't be a slate to him. But this cover alone is just not. It just is not it doesn't draw me in. If anything, it has me say, who in the hell thought this was a good idea for a cover? So we're gonna. I think Green Lantern Corps number 5 is gonna be our first trash box. That's gonna be our first trash box of the week. We've got Supergirl number 2. I didn't even know they did a new Supergirl, because that was also last month before we started the pull list show. So, Supergirl, of course, is going to be written by women, girl power, probably a whole bunch of feminism in it. So we're gonna trash box Supergirl. DC versus Vampires World War number 10. I mean, vampire stories are kind of overrated at this point, especially in comics. Vampire crossovers. They've done so many of them between DC and Marvel over. Oh, excuse me, everybody. Over the last decade plus. We're not. Yeah. Well, we're not going to even touch that one. We're just going to automatically trash box that. Let's go to one more. Well, we're only on our last 2. So Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman. So now we're getting Wonder Woman's daughter into place here. This is number 1. Written by Tom King. Okay, so decent start, because we're not seeing a feminist power in terms of the writer's credits. So we're good there. But let's see. Backed by popular demand and now with her own miniseries, Trinity. It all begins when the daughter of Wonder Woman embarks on her most dangerous adventure yet to enter the timeline to find her father. Okay, so this is going to be... but that doesn't mean she's learned her lesson the first time. She knows messing with time has consequences. Okay, so basically, teenage girl, told no, does it anyway, messed up last time, doing it again. So yeah, we're gonna trash box Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman. Now let's get into some reprints that we got going on here. There is Batman number 9, original Batman number 9, the facsimile edition. Now, again, for anybody who who wasn't here last week, facsimile editions, what those are in comics is basically those are exact one for one reprints of older comic books with all the ads in them and everything. So Batman number 9 is getting one. Really old issue of Batman, but should be fantastic. Oh, and it's the first Batman Christmas story. Okay. And some high seas danger. The only problem is these facsimile books, they do get a little pricey just because they even though they're mass produced, they're still limited quantities, as there are with most comics. But the facsimiles, they don't get reprints they don't really get reprints. Once they do a facsimile, 9 times out of 10 does not get another one for quite a while, if at all. So, but at a $7 price point, I mean, it's a cool collector's piece. I still don't know if I would grab it. But if you're into just collecting cool covers from the past, this is a good alternative. So I would say we'll pull box that. And then for any other additional printings that DC has for this week, we're gonna highlight DC and DC cross Sonic the Hedgehog, or DC X Sonic the Hedgehog. So basically what this is DC is doing a crossover event with Sonic the Hedgehog, and they're getting that they're borrowing that license from IDW Publishing to have a crossover event with the DC heroes and the main characters of Sonic the Hedgehog, and even the secondary characters as well. So Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, Amy, all their supporting cast as well. I think they're 3 issues into it now. I have heard this is good. I've heard this is a very fun read. The only problem with it is that it was so highly anticipated that it sold like hotcakes that I couldn't even get one to begin with. So we'll just read this real quick. Gotta go flash fast. It's a crossover event unlike any other. The monstrous Darkseid crosses dimensions to invade the world of Sonic the Hedgehog, seeking the ultimate power. Sonic and his friends have faced everything from mad scientists to ancient spirits, but the forces of apocalypse may be too much for them. Thankfully, the full heroic might of the Justice League arrives to back them up. Don't miss part 1 of this unique crossover event. The initial cover was looked really cool on this. Let's see, where's the? I'm used to looking up the covers in the app. Reprints. Oh, okay. Here's the main cover from when it originally came out. There it is right here. And it looks really cool. Oh, it actually only came out just in May. So, but yeah, this sold like hotcakes though. You can't really find a first printing of this anywhere. So we have to have the reprints. And so it looks like for this reprint that's coming out this week, Shadow is going to be Batman. That's really cool. So yeah, we will definitely short box that. Pull list recommendation that. Now, before we move on to our next publisher, let's catch up with some chat. I hope everybody is had a wonderful Monday, by the way, and I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. For those of you who did not join us last night we had a Rumble exclusive stream and roundtable discussion about all sorts of things. We talked about entertainment, politics, gaming, a little bit of comic book talk as well. With an eclectic selection of creators and panelists that they didn't ever really think of in terms of would I ever see all these people on one stream together. So it was myself, it was Queen Comics wife, it was Professor Savage Dad, who's over on Rumble and on X. He's part of the Rogues Gallery on the Ironside channel on YouTube, or Iron Oxide channel on YouTube. We also had Isaac 556 by 45, who has started his own channel on YouTube not too long ago, and he's a active contributor in the GCA community on their Discord. We had Horny Alf, who joined us. Horny Alf does a lot of gaming streams and talks some politics and entertainment as well. And then we had Mo Zamboni jumped in for a little bit. That was a nice surprise. I reached out to Mo a little last second after everybody else. but he was able to join for a little bit as well. So thank you again, Mo, for hopping in on such late notice. And then also we had the real life fake wizard joining us as well, who has been going gangbusters recently in terms of Disney nuking one of his videos when he was covering Lilo and Stitch, claiming copyright when the segment of the video they copyrighted wasn't even Lilo and Stitch. It was just him with a volcano in the background. And then he's been getting a lot of flack lately for his views on Nintendo Switch 2 and game prices and the gaming industry as a whole, and predatory consumer practices by these large corporations and everything. But yeah, it was something special. It was special. It was cool. It was fun. It was Rumble only. So I'm hoping to do it again. I don't know when or if it'll happen. And quite frankly, I'd like to do it with that whole panel. So it's going to require me talking to all of them and seeing if that's something they want to make somewhat regular. But if you guys didn't catch it, you can go to the Rumble channel for those of you on YouTube and rewatch it. For anybody who doesn't have a Rumble account, there is a link in the description of the stream here on YouTube. You click on that link. Is what they call a referral link. Now, creating a Rumble account is 100% free, but if you use that link, it just shows Rumble that basically you guys are supporting me and you like what I'm doing. So feel free to go sign up for a Rumble account and go check out that stream from last night over on Rumble later on. Jose Contreras over on Rumble is here, says, Hail, Jose. How are you, man? And you too. Here we go. Queen Comics Wife said Captain Planet was awful. Yes. So we ended up picking up I ended up picking up Captain Planet #1 by Dynamite from Queen Comics Wife when we went to the comic shop last Wednesday. Because on last week's pull list, we were talking about Captain Planet #2 because we did not know there was a #1. And yeah, she said it was pretty bad. And the art wasn't so great either in it. She was bummed. Yes, she was. She was bummed. I was bummed. I flipped through it as well after she was done with it. And yeah, I wanted my money back. Oh, and Jose Taco is over on YouTube as well and says, Hail, Jose Taco, aka Jose Contreras on Rumble. But yeah, let's get into Marvel though now. Okay. Moving on into Marvel. So there's a good number of titles coming out of Marvel this week. Not necessarily good titles, but a good number of titles. So first and foremost, we have Ultimate X-Men #16, Ultimate Black Panther #17. I am not the biggest fan of Ultimate Black Panther. This current run of Ultimate Black Panther, it is not just in terms of the Ultimate Universe, this new Ultimate Universe, it is probably the weakest title amongst the new Ultimate Universe titles. But as a standalone, if you didn't have other titles to compare it to, I wouldn't say it's bad. So if you like Black Panther, if you enjoy stories about Wakanda and Black Panther going and beating people up and whatnot, it's got a few fun cameos from characters and maybe you wouldn't necessarily see going down to Wakanda. It's not bad. I mean, I am curious in terms of what they're going to do with the story moving forward. It's just not my favorite thing that in Ultimate Universe right now. But I will definitely give a pull list recommendation both for Ultimate X-Men #16 this week and Ultimate Black Panther #17 this week. And this is Marvel, so the majority of it is going to be trash box recommendations. So we're just gonna skip over. We're gonna skip over One World Under Doom. We'll skip over Magic. Exceptional X-Men now. The Death of the Silver Surfer. Now, I'm convinced this is specifically coming out because of the new Fantastic Four movie coming out, where it's featuring female Silver Surfer, who we've seen a couple of times in comics in years past. Now, although it's not saying anything about if this Silver Surfer, the main Silver Surfer, is going to be replaced by female Silver Surfer or not, but I can only assume that's going to be the case at the end of this event, just because they have this movie in Marvel Comics now, pretty much more or less, and they've announced it in articles several months ago. Marvel Comics more or less is now working basically as a think tank and a thought machine for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for the MCU. So anything that we see in the comics moving forward very possible we'll get that'll be a plot point, or at least something that gets touched on in the movies moving forward. In Well, not necessarily the upcoming movies, but in the movies that we'll be seeing in the next few years from now, if the MCU doesn't crash and burn after Fantastic Four, Avengers Doomsday, and whatever else is supposed to be coming out next year. But Death of Silver Surfer, who's working on it? Greg Pak is working on it. Yeah, I have no interest in this. I don't have interest really in any Marvel stuff right now, but especially stuff regarding Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four. So we're gonna do a trash box recommendation on that. Here we go. We got a couple of titles here. I do want to discuss real quick, specifically for the pull list show tonight. Let's get those. Okay, cool. So first is the new Avengers. So the new Avengers. Now, for anybody that saw the Thunderbolts or was paying attention to news about the Thunderbolts movie from last month, or was it last month? Yeah, from last month. Part of their marketing was that oh well, we're gonna change it from being the Thunderbolts to the new Adventures. Ha ha ha. Well, look who's front and center on the cover of the new Avengers: Winter Soldier, Black Widow. But not only is it them, we have Namor, who nobody gives a damn about. Laura Kinney Wolverine. Hey, Tomby's in the chat. Tomby, what's going on, brother? How are you, man, over on Rumble? Good to see you, dude, brother. I hope all is going well with you. But Laura Kinney as the not Wolverine, in my mind. Eddie Brock's Carnage, because that's right, Eddie Brock is Carnage now. So just this gathering of characters and this gathering of characters that don't necessarily belong in Marvel altogether, or at least these iterations of them. I have no interest in it. It is just more terrible marketing by Marvel. So we're going to trash it. We're going to trash the new Avengers #1. That's right. Queen Comics wife over on YouTube says trash. That's right. We're going to trash it. And you guys, let me know in the chat, please. Please, if you're watching, let me know in the chat, whether it's YouTube or Rumble, if there's a book that you're seeing on the screen that I'm not necessarily talking about, or if you want to see more about it, I can pop it open. We can read summaries about it. The reason why I'm kind of moving at a little bit of a faster pace tonight is because A, last week there were just a lot more books than there are this week, but also B, I felt like that I was just opening every single cover, reading almost every single blurb, and I felt like that kind of drug down the overall pace of everything. And so I'm trying a different pacing of this tonight to see how you guys like it. But yeah, so new Avengers #1, we're gonna trash. Giant size Amazing Spider-Man #1. So these giant sizes, anytime you see a giant size, it's just basically a book that's a comic book that's twice as long as it normally would be. Standard comics are anywhere between 28 and 34 pages nowadays. This one is 64. But the thing is, it also comes in at a more expensive price of $7.99. Now, they will do these giant size issues to try usually to well, at least the giant size issues used to be just like a big event that they wanted to have readers read and be excited about, but it wasn't an event across the entire Marvel universe. It was just a big event for that one particular title, for that one particular character. And sometimes we would get special guest characters in it, but typically it was just a big deal, a big event. And this, what they're doing is, oh well, look at that. We're getting more Fantastic Four promotion. Oh yes, we have Rocket Raccoon there. It looks like in the background. And oh look at that, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, who they're still trying to push down our throats. But front and center on giant size Amazing Spider-Man, it's not even Spider-Man front and center on the cover. It is the Fantastic Four front and center on the cover. This is strictly being put out to help promote the Slot movie that's coming out. What is it, next month, I think, with Pedro Pascal and what's her name, Vanessa Kirby, and just that it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I'm not going to like it. I don't think anybody's really going to like it. It's not going to perform well, and they're doing everything they can to market that movie, both in advertising and also in the comic books themselves. That's why this is going to be. That's why this is a Fantastic Four centric cover. And then also, it looks like, oh yeah, Al Ewing, who Al Ewing is not the worst writer in the world, but he is writing all new Venom #1. And I understand that there was an interview that he did with somebody last week or 2 weeks ago, stating that there's a particular character in all new Venom #1 that he's not too thrilled about. He doesn't really like writing for. He doesn't hate the character, but he doesn't like the character either. But considering Al Ewing is doing it anyway because he needs a paycheck, I can understand that. But at the same time, like, I've expressed my opinions on that these writers in comics, especially at Marvel and DC, Marvel specifically, if they feel that something isn't going to work, they need to have the balls to open their mouths and go to editorial and say, no, this is dumb. This isn't going to work. This character is bad, or this idea is crap. Let me be the writer. Let me write the story I want to write, and then we can take it from there. But that's not what happens usually. Usually they're told, okay, this is the kind of story we want you to write, fill in dialogue. But also, my concern for this is, well, look at that. Kevin Smith is a co-writer on this. Kevin Smith doesn't, outside of making funny movies with dick and fart jokes, does not have a creative bone in his fucking body, as far as I'm concerned. He may know a lot about comics, but that doesn't mean he is qualified to write them. And anytime Kevin Smith has gotten involved with a comic book, usually it's Marvel. He's done a few DC ones as well. They are usually terrible. So we're going to absolutely giant size Amazing Spider-Man trash box. Absolute trash box. John Ambler said Fantastic Four. What about the Fantabulous Five? Yes, the Fantabulous Five, led by John Ambler himself. I mean, Pedro Pascal sounds like he would be better suited for Fantabulous Five, because it sounds gay. Well, John, I got there. We're getting to that. Don't worry, because we are still in June now. But before we get to that, let's get through with this. So, giant size Dark Phoenix Saga #1. This is just incredibly infuriating for me. And let me show you why. And it's incredibly infuriating for a lot of people. Where are the facsimiles from last week? Sorry, everybody. I'm just trying to find. Second printing facsimiles. Oh no, maybe they're coming up. I'm trying to just see, because there was a Marvel facsimile cover. Oh, that's later in the month then, I think. Because this cover for giant size Dark Phoenix, it's basically replacing Cyclops on the cover with Kamala Khan, and that's what I was looking for. Because I know they're doing a facsimile of it, but I guess that's a little too far out. But anyway, Kamala Khan, for anybody that doesn't know, she is a mutant now. Yeah, John Ambler goes, June. Oh yeah, Pride Month. Yeah, exactly, John. But yeah, so Kamala Khan is a mutant now, according to Marvel Comics. They did a whole event a couple years ago to confirm that. And so now she's going to be heavily featured and involved in a lot of X-Men stuff moving forward. And this, when people learned that this was going to be a thing as well, this cover, a lot of people were upset, as was I, because this cover is an homage to an older X-Men cover from back in the 80s, I believe, where Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, is actually holding the body of Jean Grey as the Phoenix. They have removed Cyclops altogether from this cover and thrown Kamala Khan right in the middle. They are retroactively basically placing Kamala Khan into classic X-Men stories. They've been doing it, and they're going to keep doing it. They're doing it with this. I don't like it. I hate it. Trash box. This needs to just rot and burn. Cool. Moving on. John Ambler said, was Kamala Khan born in a middle-class family? Okay, Kamala born of a middle-class family, but couldn't run the country, Kamala wine mom. Kamala. But yeah, John. Yeah. Ow. My hat caught onto my hair a little bit. What little bit I got. So now we have Marvel Rivals Ignite. So Marvel Rivals, for those of you who don't know, is a very popular free to play hero shooter game across multiple platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You guys have seen me play it here on the channel several times in the past. It's a fun game. I'm not that great at it, but it's fun. But this is marketing genius because they took people who created the concept of Rivals, because Marvel had nothing to do with it. They just kind of signed off on the licensing for using the characters and and the Marvel brand. But they have writers that came in, and they also have been working with the creators of Rivals, who kind of worked on the backstories for all the different characters that are in this universe that Rivals takes place in, and everything the game takes place in. um, and they're putting out Rivals books. They put out one about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. That one was a good read. I really enjoyed it. And Peach Momoko is actually working on this new one. And each one of these Marvel Rivals books, they're all going to be in issue number one because they're going to have different titles. Um, but they're going to be also in different styles. It's going to be worked on by different people. This one is going to be worked on Peach Momoko. She does a lot of her art is inspired by, well, Eastern art, a lot of Asian art styles. So, and she does great work. She does a lot of cover work, alternate covers and stuff like that for Marvel, and a lot of them are great. But Marvel Rivals takes our heroes back in time and to Japan for all new adventures. Hot off the debut of Marvel Rivals, Peach Momoko designed a wave of costumes bringing the Marvel heroes to Japan. And also, these costumes are going to be featured in the game as well. So, if anybody wants to spend real money on aesthetics for a video game, you're able to do so. So, marketing wise, this is a slam dunk. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a time traveling Japanese based adventure. I don't see how it could be all that bad, considering the first Marvel Rivals book was pretty good. So we will short box recommend this. We will pull list recommend this for the week. Here we go, John Ambler. This one is for you. John Ambler says, "Hey, there's an idea for a comic superheroine, Winebox Mom, able to hurtle over the frozen meats to get at the last box of wine. Can chug a box of wine faster than a speeding bullet." I like that, John. That's good. But yeah. So, John, though, this is the one that we're talking about. It's June. So last week over on DC, they had DC Pride, that DC Pride book. And they decided to put it out in the first week of June, probably just because this was their line of thinking.
Look, this is all doesn't matter. Let's get gay already.
They just wanted to get gay already. They wanted to get it out and be done with for the month. Marvel decided to wait. They've put out their Pride special book this week. So, in honor of this Marvel Pride book, and also Marvel's favorite Pride actor right now, Pedro Pascal, we'll play this as well, because this is what I think about these Pride specials that DC and Marvel do. You guys already know where I'm going with this. Let me turn off this comment. You guys already know where I'm going with this. Here we go.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
You are gay. So yes, 100% in the trash box with this. Get all this bullshit out of my comics and entertainment. I don't want anything to do with it. Hey, Mid Iowa Gamer over on Rumble. What's going on, man? Says, hey, Comics Dad, Tommy, Dizzy, White Devil, and Jose. Hope everybody is doing well over there on Rumble tonight and on YouTube. Rumble folk, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys showing up at the chat. And the reason why I say that is because the folks at Rumble are looking at possibly adding new requirements to the creator program. I don't think it's been set in stone yet, but it looks like it's going to be. But I will probably do I'll probably do a post or something like that on X about it, or I'll just maybe do a Rumble exclusive stream next Sunday and talk to the Rumble audience about it. Because me personally, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it. It's not that the change doesn't need to happen. It would be a good change for down the road, but doing it for right now is not a good move when Rumble has a bunch of other stuff to work on. But I'll get into that this Sunday. If you guys want to come back, hang out on Sunday, I'm going to be doing Rumble exclusive on Sunday. We could talk about it then. But I appreciate you all, 11 of you on Rumble, being here and watching this tonight. Please feel free, everybody, to get into the chat, both on YouTube and Rumble. YouTube, chat's popping. You guys are all having your conversations, talking about Deborah Perkins, great mod, and that how it's her birthday tomorrow. Queen Comics Wife, remind me to message Deborah tomorrow and wish her a happy birthday, please. But yeah, Rumble folk, if you want to sit back and relax and lurk, that's fine. But also, please feel free to hop into the chat, engage with each other, ask me questions about any books. If there's anything that you see, I can try and go into a little more detail about it. Or if you just want to give me your raw reactions to some of these books, like I'm giving them too, you can do that as well. But yeah, that's where we were at with Marvel, and then now just more Marvel slop. Avengers Academy, which it looks like, oh, there's characters from this Pride Month cover right on Avengers Academy as well. So we'll just throw that in the trash box as well. Trash box. Marvel Star Wars trash box. So facsimile edition, Fantastic Four #6. This should actually be on everybody's pick list if they like the Fantastic Four and if they like collecting old comics. Because again, facsimile editions are a nice way to add to your collection of older books that otherwise would be very expensive for you to get. It is a nice thing about comics that I like that's done. Now it will say $4.99 on it instead of the original cover price from back whenever that particular issue was published. But other than that, it's an exact 1-to-1 copy of that book from when it was originally published. Yeah, there's Marvel in a nutshell for you. I skipped over some titles because Marvel, just like DC, until I see something coming out that says that Marvel is changing their strategy or that DC is changing their strategy in terms of how they approach their comics and their IPs and their writing, until there's huge shakeups at the top in editorial for both of those companies, most weeks I'm gonna really just kind of focus on either books that are really really gonna suck and I want to crap all over for a second, or books that I know that I will read because they are at least halfway decent, if not actually good. But those are few and far between Marvel and DC at this point. So let us get into our next publisher. Now this is the big one for this week. We're going into Image Comics, ladies and gentlemen. And Image Comics, right off the bat, first one here. This is my 100% must grab, absolutely must grab, must read book in basically all of comics right now. It is Skybound / Image Transformers. It is issue number 21. In the last issue, issue number 20. Oh, excuse me. Things are ramping up. Megatron is back. He repaired Starscream just to beat the ever-living crap out of Starscream. And they are ramping up and getting ready to go up against... excuse me. They're going up against Transformers, and we are going to have an Optimus Prime Megatron showdown for the first time in this series. What this series is, for anybody who doesn't know, is that this is basically... a retelling of the original Transformers story from back in 1984. It's a lot more grounded, though. Daniel Warren Johnson does a fantastic job of writing and setting the tone and giving the Autobots and the Decepticons just a little more personality, a little more gravitas, and the weight of dealing with feeling kind of hopeless sometimes in terms of the fight that they're fighting against, or at least for the Autobots, and the fight that they're fighting against the Decepticons. There's loss, there's humor, there's celebration, there's victory and tragedy. Daniel Warren Johnson is doing a fantastic job. Transformers #1 not only is my pull list recommendation, on my pull list recommendation for this week, it is always going to be a pull list recommendation until something changes with it, whether Daniel Warren Johnson writes a really terrible issue or if he just leaves the project altogether, which I don't see either happening. But until one of those two things happen, Transformers will always 100% automatically be on my recommendation every time it comes up. And also, there's some really awesome... Now, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of variant covers and everything, but there are a couple of badass covers that are coming up for this as well that I really enjoy. This one, J Drunk 3PO is going to enjoy, which this is a cool cover myself, but it features Starscream. I'm not a big Starscream fan, but the cover is cool though. You have Starscream in his jet form, and the smoke and the burners of the jets. They have an image of Starscream also in the smoke from the jets as well, which is really cool. So that's a cool cover. This is the cover that I would love to get. This is variant cover for 21 that it's got Megatron, was it Thunderjack, and Soundwave. Soundwave is my boy, and who did the cover on this one? Derek Chu. Derek Chu made Soundwave look like a total badass on this cover. I need more Soundwave. That's all I need. But yes, Transformers number 21, absolutely pull list recommended. Let's see, huh? What did I just say? Queen Comics Wife says, or Optimus Prime starts identifying. Yes, that's the only other way I would drop Transformers, is if the Transformers started identifying as, well, Transformers. That's a good one, Queen Comics Wife. Thank you for that. But let's highlight a couple other ones here. Oh yes, we're definitely gonna grab that. Yeah, there's not a whole lot by Image. I mean, Image has more than all the other larger indie publishers, but there's still not a whole lot there. But we'll focus on these. So Geiger number 15. Geiger is a title that's been going on for a while over in Image. This is the second volume of Geiger, I believe, or the second series of Geiger. The initial series was, I believe, about 3 years ago or so. But basically, what Geiger is about a man in a post-apocalyptic world, nuclear war, a post-nuclear war, post-nuclear apocalyptic world. There's radiation in the air, and this man on the cover, Geiger, his name is Tariq Geiger, and he was caught in the nuclear explosion when it initially happened in his part of the country. It did not kill him. What it did instead was that, because he also had cancer, was receiving very experimental nuclear chemotherapy, and because of that experimental chemo he was going through, the nuclear radiation of that blast that he was caught in, it turned him into basically a radioactive nuclear man, and his body stores up nuclear energy. And when he doesn't have boron rods that are attached to his back, when he's using them as weapons and he takes them off, his body builds up more and more nuclear radiation energy, and he'll eventually explode and go off. But in this post-apocalyptic world, he is righting wrongs, kicking ass, taking names, unaliving a bunch of bad dudes, taking care of people that are just trying to get by in this post-apocalyptic world, while he's trying to find his place in it as well. But yeah, Geiger is a good read. I have not read this current series of Geiger. I did read the whole first one though, and I loved it. So I will absolutely recommend Geiger for anybody out there all the time. Oh, excuse me. Lost Fantasy. So Lost Fantasy is a new title out of Image. I picked it up last month because it seemed very interesting. So basically, in the first issue, it breaks down that in our world, and then there is like a parallel fantasy world where there's monsters and people that live there as well, and they kill the monsters, and the worlds ended up kind of blurring and merging together. And there were families or groups from this other world that basically the world governments had come to an agreement with to help protect the barrier between our world and that world. And this story basically, or this book basically gives us all that backstory, and it introduces us to the son of one of the heads of those families from that other world that are tasked with and responsible for defending that barrier from monsters coming through into our world. It was really cool. The art was really well done. I liked the story. It was a lot of backstory, a lot of exposition, but I like that they got it out of the way in the first issue, so this way they could just focus on the story they're trying to tell moving forward. So I would recommend absolutely going out and picking up Lost Fantasy number 1 if you can find it, but also picking up Lost Fantasy number 2. You won't necessarily be too far behind if you just go pick up number 2. There might be, if you do like a quick Google search on just the summary for number 1, you should be able to read that real quick and then pick up number 2 and start reading it from there. But yes, the Lost Fantasy number 2 from Image Comics definitely goes onto the pull list. This one looks interesting. Good. Drawing Blood. So Drawing Blood issue number 9. The summary does not give me a whole lot to go into in terms of the background on this, but we're gonna do our best. Uh, Actually, where can I find the series? There you go. We'll just go to the series. Oh, that's why the art looks so familiar. So Kevin Eastman is the co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he is writing and doing the cover art for this book, Drawing Blood. Apparently, very interesting. And it's been around for over a year. So when you create a global franchise before you turn 20, what happens next? Readers will follow the jaw-dropping story of Shane Bookman, a cartoonist whose real life has become more absurd and action-packed than any other comic book story he could dream of. Very interesting. So you know what? Since Kevin Eastman is working on it, I don't need to know anything else about it to want to pick it up. I want to pick it up just so this way I can then learn more about it. I know that's maybe kind of an ass backwards way of thinking, but in my mind, it works. So we'll put Kevin Eastman's Drawing Blood on the pull list for this week as well. Now we're going to go into our next publisher. But before we do, let's go back into the chat and see what anybody has to say. Queen Comics Wife had her joke about Optimus Prime. If Optimus Prime starts identifying, John Ambler, doesn't Optimus now identify as Kia Optima? Queen Comics Wife says no, a Prius, more gay. Queen Comics Wife, is that a Jeff Dunham joke? I feel like that's a Jeff Dunham joke. When it's going by, it sounds like I'm gay. I'm gay. Go ahead and clip that. John Ambler, hey, check me out. I'm Fantabulous Prius. I feel so pretty precious. Optima Prius, probably. Queen Comics Wife, no offense to anyone who drives a Prius. Oh, come on, you meant offense. But that's fine. And hey, Error of Fate made it back. What's going on, Error? How are you? Because I'm unsure what I just walked into. Yeah, you walked into something. Oh man. What is that? Is that fart clouds and a rooster? Interesting. John, we may get a timeout. I need to behave. You guys aren't being too crazy. It's okay. John Ambler, rooster a doodle doo. You're not getting me, John. You're not getting me, brother. Anyway, let's go back over to our other publishers. So Boom Studios. Boom Studios is an independent publisher that was started back in, I want to say, circa 2000, somewhere between 2008 and 2010. I talked about it last week as well. There was a book early on in the early days of Boom Studio that Stan Lee actually helped create and was working on. I have not been able to figure, for the life of me, I have not been able to figure out what the hell that title was called. But I want to, because I would definitely want to find it. And because I remember I had an issue of it back then. I think it was 2010. And I had an issue of it, and I read it, and I enjoyed it because it was about, I believe it was about a soldier, a military personnel who was wheelchair bound. But this, I forget if it was experimental tech or if it was alien technology, but he had come across it, and it's kind of sort of similar to an Iron Man suit, I guess you could say, but it's a bio suit, I think, and it helps him get out of his wheelchair and walk, and he flies around and goes and saves people. But it was really cool. But that's not, unfortunately, in production anymore. What is in production is my favorite title out of Boom Studios, Something is Killing the Children. So Something is Killing the Children is number 42. Obviously, if you want to get into this, you're going to have a lot of reading to do, but it is well worth it. I would absolutely recommend it because it is about monster hunting. And only certain people can see these monsters because it's monsters that only can be seen by children and by people who have a special ability to see them. But it's not just about slaying monsters. There are organizations that of these people that are able to see these creatures, and there is a lot of a lot of internal politics going on in those organizations, and as well as our main character, she is hunted down by people in that organization as well for various reasons. And then also, I believe I have to get caught up. I think I'm about 8 issues behind on this, but I gotta get caught up. But it seems like that we're getting more of her backstory and more of her history with as a young kid, who by the woman who took her into this organization as well and taught her how to fight and kill and hunt these monsters that feed on, well, you know, the young. But Something is Killing the Children, number 42. Absolutely recommend. I recommend the entire series. If you like monster hunting, if you like some more of the gory side of comics, if you like good suspense and storytelling, Something's Killing the Children by James Tinian is also another one of those, like Transformers. It will always be a recommend in my on the show here every time it comes up. So go check out Something is Killing the Children. Now we're getting into IDW Publishing. IDW Publishing, again, like I said, guys, not a whole lot of books this week like there were last week. It seems like at the beginning of the month, there are just always more books than anywhere else. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 9. I am enjoying this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run. I've talked about it when I read the first issue of it for Comics Read Along several months ago. But basically, this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run, it picks up where the last series left off. The Turtles were disbanded. A whole bunch of stuff happened with there. Splinter is dead. Donnie now is kind of a little crazy. But they all went their own ways. In the first several issues, it shows what the Turtles were all doing during I think it was like 6 months to a year that they were all separated. But now they're back. New York is basically being run by the Foot Clan, by Karai, which is the Shredder's daughter. And they're trying to basically save New York from the Foot. Because there's a crooked politician, DA, that is now the mayor of New York City as well. The Foot are basically his personal police force throughout the city to both hunt down the Turtles and also hunt down mutants in general, because yes, mutants exist in Ninja Turtles. You got to read you got to read the original 150 IDW publishing run to really get the full gist of it. My plan is to sit down and read that from issue 1 to issue 150 eventually one day. Got to find time. There's never enough time to read the stuff you want to read, it seems. But from what I've read up to issue 7. I'm actually 1 month behind on this series. I've been enjoying it, so I'm going to say put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 9 on the pull list for this week. And we are already into our last publisher for the week. I know we're only an hour into the show, but again, like I said, not a whole lot of books this week as compared to last week. So let's get into it. It's Dark Horse Comics. Dark Horse Comics does a much better job with Star Wars than Marvel does. I will not sit here and say that every single Star Wars title out of Dark Horse is going to be good and that you absolutely have to read it. But if you see as long as it's not the High Republic, if you see a Star Wars title from Dark Horse Comics that's not the High Republic, I would at least stand there in the comic shop or wherever you're seeing it, at least flip through maybe the first 5 pages and see if it's something that you'd be interested in. It's not going to be a trash box, but it's never going to be an automatic pull either. Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch and Ghost Agents. Okay. The Bad Batch was a Disney Plus series that ended after 3 seasons. Or was it 2? Yeah, I think it was 3 seasons. I enjoyed it. It was a continuation of the Clone Wars animated series that focused on a specific group of clones known as the Bad Batch. Looks like we have Asajj Ventress here as well. So if anybody knows the Clone Wars animated series, you know who she is. I don't want to say no to this. I don't want to say trash box this just because it's telling a story based on a Disney Plus show, because the show had potential. It was the first season was pretty good. The second season, but I don't know. Oh, okay. So with this story, it's hyperspace story. So what it is, it's going back. It's telling stories that took place during the Clone Wars, but it's focusing on the Bad Batch. So you know what? Yeah, I would. Yeah, go ahead and add this to your poll list. Why not? If you like Star Wars stories, as long that's not like Disney smut, which this shouldn't be because Dark Horse is doing it. Dark Horse tends to be a little bit grittier than Marvel and DC. So go ahead and go pick that up. Why not? Star Wars hyperspace stories. Out of Dark Horse as well. Let's see. Pull up these. So the Umbrella Academy Plan B. So if anybody is a fan of the Netflix series The Umbrella Academy uh was initially a comic and it was out of Dark Horse Comics and then it was adapted into a Netflix series. So if you like the Umbrella Academy, go to your local comic shop, see if you can find the Umbrella Academy back issues. Um but I have not been reading them. I personally like the Umbrella Academy show was kind of okay. It was cool, but it never piqued my curiosity enough to go and read the actual comic books, though. But if you're a fan of the show on Netflix, go ahead and get this. I'm just not going to put it on my pull list recommendation because I am not a big Umbrella Academy fan. But anyway, it says after the mass release of the city's greatest foes and the chaos that followed in Hotel Oblivion, the Umbrella Academy faces their most fearsome challenge to date. Their older brothers and sisters, known only as the Sparrows. They share a different connection to Sir Reginald Hargraves and Mom. No one knows how to hurt each other more than family. And this powerful, ruthless brood will spare no brutality in favor of their sole objective control and the obedient glare that comes with it. Yeah, and it sounds like it's something that was played on. They're playing on something that was touched on in the comics, which was touched on touched on in the Netflix show, which was touched on in the comics. And you see, it's just kind of back and forth and round we go. But yeah, I won't pull this on my pull list recommendation, but I'm not. I won't trash box this either. Queen Comics Wife, heads up on this one. Found another mini series that you're gonna have to go back and find previous issues of. Frankenstein New World, The Sea of Forever. So Frankenstein confronts darkness that led to the New World and the deeper evil that still has its roots in the finale to The Sea of Forever. Okay, so this is the last issue of this. It's a 4-issue series, it seems like. Mike Mignola. I like Mike Mignola's work. He does really good in comics. He's a good writer. And excuse me. Uh, they are working on this book. It looks like they return to the new world that Hellboy and BPRD gave to save their lives. So this takes place in the Hellboy universe. It sounds like yes, from the world of Hellboy, right at the top of the comic. So Queen Comics Life and anybody else who likes Hellboy, who likes monsters, this probably is going to be for you. I would. This is the last issue of this 4-issue series, so I would definitely go and see if you could pick up the first 3 issues of this before. But if you just want to have something that's in similar art style to Hellboy, and you just like monsters and stuff like that, go ahead and grab it. It's not my thing. Not gonna pull it. Not gonna pull list it. I'm not gonna trash box it either, though. Queen Comics Wife says, "Yeah, I have no interest." No, that's fair, Queen Comics Wife. That's very fair. And then our last book of the night is going to be Critical Role. So for anybody who's unaware, both myself and Queen Comics Wife, we've played Dungeons and Dragons in the past. I love playing Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPGs. Critical Role. So there is or at least there was, not as much now, but about probably 9 years ago, there was a big boom in live streaming of D&D games. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there was a big boom in live streaming D&D games on YouTube and on Twitch. There was a group of voice actors that came together and had their own personal game that they were playing in one of their houses or one of their apartments, and one of them decided to get together with another one of their Hollywood friends and turn it into a production. And we got the live stream show Critical Role. Critical Role, their very first campaign, was a lot of fun. It was creative. It was original. Various voice actors like Sam Riegel, Travis Willingham, Matthew Mercer, Laura Bailey, all took part in it, as well as some others as well. It was very well done. And the first campaign with their first characters, they were a group called Vox Machina. They've done other campaigns and series since. They're not nearly as good, in my opinion, as the original the original campaign that they were playing. And I think that's because after that first campaign, they were focusing more on collective storytelling from a production and entertaining standpoint, not just doing it for themselves. As opposed to that first campaign, they started doing the live streaming after they were already like halfway through it and built up the world and had adventures and all that. So they were more having fun with that one than they were focused on putting together an entertaining product for people to watch. But regardless, the reason why I go through all that backstory is because this is Critical Role, Vox Machina Origins 1, number 1. And these are on the cover here, 2 characters of the players, the voice actors that played in this D&D campaign. Vax down here, the male elf, and his sister Vex. They are a rogue and a ranger. They're very entertaining, very crass. The whole crew cast of characters was crass, but it was a lot of fun. If anybody does know Critical Role, or anybody used to watch Critical Role and is aware of that whole series and that franchise, and you want to know more about Vax and Vex and their adventures and their origins, you can go pick this up. Yeah, the original Vox Machina digital series in print for the first time, just in time for the 10th anniversary of Critical Role. Okay, yeah, so 10 years ago then. My mistake. But I'll put this on my recommended pull list for the week. Now, with that, again, this was going to be a short one this week because there just weren't as many books coming out by all the major publishers. So I hope everybody enjoyed going through all the comics. One last time, here is my pull list for the week. My recommendations for you guys. Now, not all of these are going to be ones that I'm going to go personally pick up, just because really I just don't have the funds to do so. As Queen Comics Wife says, well, if I want to get more comics, I'll have to strip. No, you're not doing that. We're not going to be picking up comics, unfortunately. But again, we'll go through just the list of recommendations here for anybody that does want to go pick up comics this week. I wouldn't be getting all of these because, like I said, I don't have the funds, but I will be going and picking up 1 or 2 this week. So Absolute Batman number 9 out of DC, Action Comics 1087, facsimile edition of Batman number 9, the 3rd printing of DC Cross Sonic the Hedgehog, all out of DC, Dark Horse Comics Critical Role Vox Machina Origins number 1. Where are we? We're going to go to Image Comics next. Drawing Blood, not just Drawing Blood number 9, but go see if you can find Drawing Blood number 1 as well, written by Kevin Eastman, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles. Should be a good one. Ninja Turtles number 9, go ahead and go grab that one out of IDW as well. We've got another Dark Horse. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories. Hesitantly recommended this one. So if you want, go ahead and have an interesting Star Wars story to read, go ahead. But I don't blame you for not going to get it because it still is Star Wars. And given that what's been happening to Star Wars over the last decade plus, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to go get it. Now, where were we? In Marvel, the only Marvel book that I really recommended for this week was Marvel Rivals Ignite number 1. And then also, if you want to go pick up the facsimile edition of Fantastic Four number 6, do that as well. Cool piece to add to your collection. And then Image Comics. Like I said, Drawing Blood number 9 up here. Geiger number 15. Definitely go get Geiger. Lost Fantasy number 2 is, I've personally read the first one. I really enjoyed it. I'm interested and intrigued. It gave me just enough info about the world that these guys working on it are building, but not enough that I wouldn't be satisfied with just one issue. I want more, so I'm going to be getting more. And then my absolute pick of the week, Transformers number 21. You can go get the base cover A, or you can go pick up this badass cover D 1 in 21 Derek Chu variant. Soundwave and Megatron and crew on the cover as well. Now, there's something I need to address. Last week here on the pull list, I very hesitantly recommended something. I very hesitantly recommended a title out of Marvel. When, against my better judgment, I recommended it, and for that I apologize. It was Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. And I read it and it was awful. I guess let me share my thoughts on it with you guys. Because I read it and I wrote an X post. Oh no, screen share's down. Enable audio. There we go. So hold on. All right. So basically, what I wrote for spoilers for Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1, and if you guys remember, this is what the cover looked like. And I quote: "This was unfortunately what I thought it would be. Miles shows up in the new Ultimate Universe. Peter and his son Richard, both on patrol, encounter Miles. Richard is enamored with Miles as Spider-Man, and Peter feels jealous. Cody Ziegler, who is the writer for the Miles Morales Spider-Man run, and also co-wrote this slop. Cody Ziegler needs to stop writing comics in general, and Denise Camp, who was the other co-writer, needs to just keep writing the Ultimates. And Denise Camp is writing the Ultimates, which is one of the Ultimate titles. He's doing an okay job with that, but he needs to stick to that and never write a Spider-Man related story again. Rant over. Do not buy this steaming pile of crap. Miles Morales is Miles Morales, not Spider-Man." And yeah, somebody even said in the comments, "Thank you for saving me money. I hope this doesn't affect the main Ultimate Spider-Man book." But not only was posting that on X needed to be done, but it still bothered me so much that I went out and I had bought this and I had read it. And also bothered me that I very cautiously recommended this to all of you last week. That I felt like I need to say something extra about it. So this past Thursday on Talking Shop, had my guest Kevin Apollo, and I spoke about it with him, and I issued a retraction. So let me get the part off real quick here, and I will let you guys. I'll let you guys sit and listen to my retraction, because I mentioned this on Queen Comics Wife stream last night, but Kevin, just in case, because you are reading Ultimate Spider-Man now and maybe getting into the Ultimate Universe stuff. This book right here, Ultimate Spider-Man, what is it called? Incursion. There we go. Yeah, don't bother picking that up. It doesn't play into the Ultimate Spider-Man storyline at all. All this is like a 4 or 5 issue event to try to get people to believe that Miles Morales is the true Spider-Man of the 616. Yeah, I put a whole X post out about it. I have a new weekly show I started this week called The Pull List, where I'm giving basically recommendations on new weekly books that are coming out every week for New Comic Book Day on Wednesdays. So I was talking about this, and I initially was very, very hesitantly gave it my pull list recommendation. After reading this last night, I hate to do it to Art, but no, go!
Motherfucker, that's money you just threw out.
I know, and it's the worst $5 I've spent in the last 4 friggin' years.
Kill you. I'm gonna literally
kill you right now. Screw that book.
You don't get dinner.
Screw Cody Ziegler or whatever the hell his name is.
So guess what? No dinner for you.
No, that's how mad that book made me. Because they are trying to undo. Money. Okay, you know what? Bye. That is how mad Cody Ziegler, whatever the heck his name is, that's writing Miles Morales currently, pissed me off. Because you can't just leave the one good thing that we are getting in Marvel alone. You have to take one issue and just try to make Peter Parker look like a bad Spider-Man to his own damn kid. And that's basically what happened. Wow. So, but... So there's my official retraction and statement on that book. I apologize again to you guys for hesitantly and cautiously recommending that last week. Great Comics Life goes, my bitch resting face. John Abler says that there's the video evidence submitted in future court cases, isn't it? Yeah, probably. But no, I apologize to anybody that did go out and buy that based on my recommendation, or even if you don't go out and buy it, if you read it online for free. Even then, I'm still sorry if you wasted your time because I discussed it on the show last week. Uh, that's my bad, and I fully own that. But yeah, that was the thing. I believe I had one thing more for you guys tonight before we call it a night. Uh, yes. Yes, give me 1 second. I will get it pulled up here. So for those of you who don't know who he is, Mark Miller is a veteran comic book writer. He wrote many titles for Marvel Comics and also for independent publishers as well. He is the creator of Kick-Ass. Yes, Kick-Ass the movie. It was based on a comic book series written by Mark Miller. He's also writing Vatican City, which is a 3-issue series currently. Issue 2 just came out this past week. And he is currently working on a Kickstarter project. It's going to be a 3-volume project. Volume 1 is currently up for funding on Kickstarter, and he's working with comic book art legend John Romita Jr., the son of John Romita Sr., who did a lot of the early work for Marvel Comics between him and Jack Kirby. The two of them coming together for a story called Psychic Sam. Mark Miller has been going on a lot of different YouTube shows, predominant YouTube shows, like Critical Drinkers channel, Nerdrotics channel, been on a couple others, and these are show or he spoke with Eric July, and on I think his own podcast with Eric July, but he's been engaging with big content creators and who are seen as radical, I guess, or overly critical, or seen as quote unquote right wing. And so now people are apparently coordinating a cancel campaign for Mark Miller. And it's from a former colorist who doesn't like that he's going around and basically getting more success and making money. And it's really a really shitty reason why you want to try and cancel somebody. Canceling anybody's hard work is awful, but it's even worse with this. So Mark Miller worked on a Dark Horse comic called Chrononauts. Excuse me. But the colorist, which for the colorist, that's the person that does all the colors on the book. So there's pencilers, inkers, and colorists. Pencil does the initial pencil work and line art. The inkers put the ink into the lines and add any dark shading and darkness to the lines and ink to the lines to make the pencils really stand out and give it. And this way, you're not just looking at basically a penciled piece of art and everything looks flat and with no dimensions. And then there's the colorist. The colorist goes in and adds all the color. So apparently this Chrononauts title that Mark Miller had worked on in the past, there is a library edition, so it's probably like a hardcover omnibus or something of it, and it's available for sale. And the colorist on that book, Matt Hollingsworth, apparently has been going around and attacking Mark Miller, and saying that what is it? Or at least it started because he said, "No thanks, don't buy this. I receive no money." So basically, because he's not receiving money, he doesn't want people to buy it. And then I guess that he's kind of developed some kind of an obsession with just attacking Mark Miller based on that. And so he's going to the platforms and saying F Mark Miller. F Mark Miller. Let's see what else. Here he is. "I don't want to be associated with this comic and won't receive money if you buy it, so please boycott it." The real motivation behind this campaign becomes clear when examining how Hollingsworth talks about how he doesn't want to be associated with the book. Miller's crime wasn't failing to pay creators, which the colorist, this dude Mark Hollingsworth, was paid in full upon the completion of the original comic book series. So he's just bitchy that he's probably not getting any work right now. Um, Miller's crime wasn't failing to pay creators. It was appearing on YouTube channels that progressive activists have deemed politically unacceptable. Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and Clownfish TV represent some of the most popular voices in geek culture commentary, with millions of subscribers who appreciate their focus on entertainment quality over political messaging. Um, yeah, so this guy probably he's this Mark Hollinsworth colorist. He's pissy that he didn't get paid for that book getting reprinted into an omnibus. He's jealous of Mark Miller's success. What else? He's probably looking for work and can't get work in the comic book industry. And on top of that, he's probably a severe leftist lunatic and probably has some TDS. And so he's going after saying, oh, well, if you're on Nerdrotic and you're on Critical Drinker, well, then you're a piece of shit and this, that, and the other. And so it's just more activists in entertainment. And it's not even, and it's not even politically motivated. It's motivated by greed. It's motivated by jealousy. It's motivated by money or lack thereof for this guy. And he's just looking for a reason to, lash out at Mark Miller for literally anything and everything. But screw cancel pigs, screw cancel culture, fuck all that. Let's just enjoy comics. If you don't like something, don't read it. If you don't like a particular person and you're jealous of them, well, you know what? That's your lot in life. Work your way out of it instead of trying to blame everybody else around you. Yeah, that's kind of my whole rant. But that was comic book related news, so I wanted to share it for tonight. But yeah, that's the show, everyone. I'm still working on what Plus Extra could be, but considering what we talked about this week's books for, it was at least an hour, the first hour of the show. I'm still working it out. If anybody has any ideas for something they would like to see in like the second half of the show, this way, in case I blow through the upcoming books for coming weeks, especially if there's weeks where there's maybe just not a whole lot of books coming out. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. Shoot me an email, thecomicsdad@gmail.com. Reach out to me on X @comicsdad. However you want to contact me is fine. But yeah, that's all I got for tonight, man. That's everybody, or that's the poll list, ladies and gentlemen. I'll keep it up on the screen one more time, just so everybody can see. If you want to get a screen grab for this week's recommendations, here they all are. And again, we'll go through them one more time. Absolute Batman, Action Comics 1087, Batman Facsimile number 9, Critical Role Vox Machina Origins, DC Sonic the Hedgehog number 1, third print, Drawing Blood number 9, Fantastic Four Facsimile Edition number 6, Geiger number 15, Lost Fantasy number 2, Marvel Rivals Ignite number 1, Something is Killing the Children 42, Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch Ghost Agents number 4 by Dark Horse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 9, and Transformers number 21. Whew, that was a mouthful. But ladies and gentlemen, everybody on YouTube and on Rumble, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Monday night. I am Comics Dad. This has been The Pull List. And you can, tomorrow, please check out Queen Comics Wife's channels, both on YouTube and on Rumble. Go check out Queen Comics Wife. She's going to be doing Queen Comics Court next week, this week. She's going to be doing it tonight or tomorrow night, talking about all sorts of good stuff. I think she's going to have a special guest tomorrow night as well. Wink, wink, Queen Comics Wife. But keep an eye out on that. Go check out all of her other content on YouTube and Rumble as well. Please, guys, go back and check out the previous Talking Chops as well, if there's one that you missed. I hope you enjoyed this stream. I hope you guys are enjoying the poll list. This is only the second week of doing this. I figure we'll probably give this like a 2-month run, see how people are liking it, see what the engagement is like, see if anybody really gives a damn about my comic book recommendations or not. And then if not, we'll go back to the drawing board. But you guys voted for this, so I hope you're liking what you voted for. But let's see. Also, this coming Thursday, we have Comics Couple Cafe. So keep an eye out for that. This coming Friday, I will be on the Rogues Gallery on the Iron Oxide channel with Iron Oxide, Professor Savage Dad, and that whole panel of folks. What what else we got going on? I don't know. Queen Comics Wife, you got anything going on? I know she's got her streams this week, but other than that, I don't think we have anything going on. Wait, what? I said Queen Comics Wife. Do you have anything else going on this week that you need people to know about before they see you tomorrow night? Let me know. Era Fate said, I do listen to them, believe it or not. Just not in situations to buy a lot right now. No, Era, you are good. You are good. I just, like I said, with this being the newest show and the newest idea and everything like that. Like I said, I'm gonna give it probably 2-month run. See how people are enjoying. See how people are enjoying it. Seeing if anybody's taking away anything from it. And if you guys aren't a big fan of it too, don't be ashamed to let me know. I can always go back to the drawing board. It is what it is. But Era Fate, no, don't worry about it. You're good. You are good. Queen Comics Life said we are enjoying. What? Okay. Jose Gutierrez over on Rumble says, what's your recommendation of the week before you end? So I hit my recommendation of the week earlier in the stream, but one more time, just for you, Jose. My recommendation for the week is going to be right here. It's going to be Transformers number 21 out of Image and Skybound, because this is the best thing in all of mainstream comics right now. Because even though Marvel and DC are the big two, I do see Image Comics, Dark Horse, Boom Studios. I do see those publishers as mainstream as well, even though they are independently owned and creator-owned comics. They are published on a massive scale, just like DC and Marvel are. So, but Transformers number 21 is my pick for the week. Anytime it's Transformers, until something possibly better comes along, it's gonna be Transformers. But yeah, Transformers number 21 is my pick of the week for Jose, and for anybody else who missed it earlier, be sure to enjoy that. Daniel Warren Johnson and his team over at Image and Skybound Comics are doing a great job with it. Well, that's the stream, everybody. Thank you all again so much for hanging out with me here on a Monday night. It is 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? But you all have a wonderful night. I hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. I will see you all possibly tomorrow night in Queen Comics Wife's chat and on her stream. But if not, I'll see you guys Thursday for Comics Couple Cafe. And everybody, please remember, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, support your local comic shops, support independent comic creators, and support small creators like myself and like Queen Comics Wife and like many other friends of the channel that I've had on here as well. But thank you all so much for joining. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe and follow if you haven't done so already on YouTube or Rumble. Please follow me on X. Please share the streams and share the channels and tell everybody you know about it. Until next time, everybody, this is Comics Dad signing off.
Assemble true believers, it's time for the show. Comics Dad's in the house with the books you should know. He's flipping through pages, the good and the bad. Superhero showdowns and villains gone mad. With a wink and a grin, he's your comic book guide. So grab your pull list, let's take this ride. It's the pull list, here we go. Comics Dad's got the highs and lows. From epic wins to flops that miss, he's breaking down the books on the pull list. Superheroes, villains, and lore, he's got opinion you can't ignore. From indie gems to Marvel's might, Comics Dad's here to set it right. Panels pop the story, so I'll tell you what's worth fighting for. Some books shine, some books fade.